Welcome to Module 3, the home search. So we've gone over pre-approval, what to expect at the pre-approval process, and loan program types in Modules 1 and Modules 2. Now it gets super exciting. We're going to go over the actual home search, choosing a realtor or using a realtor at all. What are the benefits of using a realtor? And then we're going to go into the actual process of making an offer and what to expect at this stage in the process. Lesson 1, looking for homes. These days, there's so many different ways to find homes. There's so many different websites. My goal for you is to make sense of that in this module and also to give you some things to watch out for that you might not have thought of. The first is I'm going to go over again what I went through in Lesson 1, Module 1. We went over online calculators and how they might not all be correct. So as you're navigating online and you're going to all the different websites where homes are listed, you're going to see a lot of online calculators. It's important to note that these might not always be accurate, as they don't always calculate property tax, home insurance, and if applicable, PMI correctly. This is where you want to, again, involve your lender that you've been consulting with to get the real deal on the monthly payments on the houses that you're liking in case you're unsure of what your monthly payment is going to be. The next thing that I'd like to cover is using a realtor. Now, I've closed thousands of loans in the last few decades that I've been a mortgage lender, and I've seen clients that use a realtor, and I've also seen some clients that don't. My personal opinion and experience is that using a realtor saves you time, saves you money, and definitely saves you heartache. So I'd like to go over the benefits of using a realtor. Then you can decide, are you going to go at it alone, or are you going to go at it with a professional that's going to be able to guide you through this complicated process of navigating which home to buy? So a realtor is licensed. Realtors have to have hours, dozens of hours of education and renewed education every several years in order to be in their profession. So they're experienced, they're knowledgeable, they're educated, they've closed more houses than you've closed, because how many times do you really buy a house in your lifetime? Just a few if you're lucky. Some people maybe even 1 or 2 times. Realtors have the experience to navigate, to negotiate. They have the keys to let you in the house. There's codes to get in all of these houses. They're actually also what we call arm's length from the seller, because they're just representing you. Depending on the state in which you live, going directly with the realtor that's representing the seller and using them to negotiate for you and also the seller at the same time is actually illegal in some states. It's against the rules of that realtor association. So not sure which state you live in, but it's really important to know that it's great for you to have representation that's looking out just for your interests and not also the interests of somebody else. Now, you're probably wondering, the biggest question is, Jennifer, who pays the fee of the realtor that's going to represent me? In many cases, it's paid by the seller. That's going to be disclosed. Every house is different, so you need to make sure that you check in any particular house what kind of fees are being paid to a realtor. It'll be disclosed on every listing that you see online. If the realtor fee that's representing you is not paid by the seller, then it could be your responsibility to pay that fee. A great question to ask realtors that you're interviewing to help you is, what's your fee and am I responsible for any portion of it? So realtors will definitely have this conversation with you. Now, the other thing you're probably wondering is, how do I choose a realtor? So similar to what we went over on how to choose a lender, it's a great idea to get referrals from family, friends, coworkers that have used realtors before and can give you a couple of names of realtors in your area that are familiar with the areas that you're looking to buy your next home. So some questions that you want to ask the realtor are, what hours do you work? What areas do you work? How much experience do you have? Have you helped buyers similar to my situation? These are the hours that I need to look at homes. You might have a special situation and only able to look at homes certain times of the day or certain days of the week. That's a great question to talk about with your realtor in order to make sure that y'all are going to be a fit. This is a really personal relationship. The realtor is helping you get your next home where you're going to live with your family. It might seem to you like a super easy task, but we definitely don't take it lightly. We want to make sure that you're in the very best hands to navigate this, what can sometimes be perceived as complex process, and help it make super easy and smooth for you to get into that new home. So realtors are a key, vital role in this process. And together with a great lender, you're going to have a great time getting to the finish line. Now you've chosen a realtor and it's time to really get cranking on finding a home. So remember, we talked about pre-approval. Before you start looking at homes, it's crucial that you've talked to a lender at this point. I've seen many people over the years, they'll start to look at houses. I don't know if you remember my example of the lady that fell in love with an open house over the weekend, and she fell in love with a $700,000 house, and turns out that she was really only able to afford a home of $150,000 based on her income. We definitely don't want that to happen to you. So make sure that if at this point you're looking for homes and you haven't yet talked to a lender, that you stop, get with a lender, see what you qualify for, and then you can start looking at homes. So let's assume that you've talked to a couple of realtors, you've found one that's the right fit for you, that you feel a connection with. It really is also an instinct thing. Who answers your questions? Who do you feel supported with? Similar to what we went over on how to choose a lender. So now you'll make some appointments. The realtor will definitely lead the way and know how to navigate you in, let's make appointments at homes. What types of homes are you looking for? Do you need to be in a certain area for schools? Do you need to be in a certain area to commute for work? These are the kinds of questions that you'll need to see if you know the answers to help them narrow down the perfect home for you. But there's lots of information online. So you'll be also seeing things online, seeing things on the multiple listing service, seeing everything on other websites that are out there advertising listings. It's important to note that if you've started working with a realtor, you want to make sure letting that realtor help you to have access to all of these different houses. That way you can be served at a super high level with someone that knows what you're looking for and can help navigate you through this process. You'll also go to open houses on the weekend. You'll see they're advertised online. You'll go to wherever you're looking at homes, or your realtor will tell you that a certain home is available, and bam, there's an open house this Sunday from 12 to 2. That's a great way to be able to go see houses on your time and not have to make an appointment, where many times sellers require 1, sometimes even 2 or 3 days to make an appointment ahead of time to see a particular house. The realtor, again, will help you navigate all of these appointments, getting into the homes, because there's codes on the doors. There's certain keys. There's an electronic key that realtors have to get into homes. So you're not able to just go into a home on your own. You'd have to have a realtor that lets you in to the home that you're looking at. Another thing that we'll go over is when to engage your lender again. Now, at this point, you might have had a pre-approval from a couple or a few different lenders, or you might have narrowed it down to one. It's important that at whatever level you feel comfortable with, you start re-engaging with maybe whatever lender is on the top of your list of the several that you might have engaged with, you want to be including them in properties that you're looking at that you might have questions about the monthly payment. Can I go $20,000 higher than we put on the pre-approval letter? You definitely want to ask those questions and let the lender help make sense of things for you so that you can make those very important decisions. Is this the right house for me? So during this home search process, you're probably engaging and re-engaging with the lender in order to get accurate numbers, because remember that online stuff isn't always accurate, so I wouldn't get looped into online calculators. Something important to note as well, if you've had any changes at all that could affect your financial situation, it is crucial that you let the lender that did your pre-approval know about these changes, just to make sure that your pre-approval will still be intact. These types of changes are things like job change. Even if it's for a higher dollar amount, you still need to let the lender know. Any big credit purchases, try to call the lender before you make them. You would hate to buy a new car and find out that that new payment is now going to qualify you for less of a house than you thought you were going to get. The other type of change is marriage. If you are divorcing or if you're getting married, you definitely need to let the lender know. I'll never forget a closing. It was about a decade ago. It hasn't happened in a while, but I was at the closing and I remember they were signing and I saw a ring on my client's finger and he was single. And I said, "David, are you married?" He says, "Oh yeah, we went to Vegas over the weekend and we got married." I said, "David, we have to stop right now. We have to redo all the papers because the papers say that you're an unmarried man, and that's not true anymore." Now, we fixed it very quickly, crisis averted, but even what you think might be the simplest thing could be a big thing. So make sure to involve your lender in those changes just to make sure we've checked it off the list and that everything is okay. This concludes lesson 1. I'll see you in lesson 2, where we're going to be talking about making the offer and finalizing your lending.